What's up, everybody? Back for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol, where you're hopefully at if you clicked on this video. And today is not a regular review because it's a duo review, as I'm joined by a very good friend of mine of about 10 years or so. Sean, what's going on, Sean?
Not much, just ready to get into some barley wine.
Barley wine is life, as the kids probably no longer say. So Sean and I have known each other, like I said, for about 10 years. A mutual friend of ours, Aaron, introduced us back in the mid-2010s or so. And you came down to Buffalo first time in many years back late last year, and we were unable to hang out. And you were nice enough to drop me off some Canadian goodies. I did a whole beer hall video. I reviewed everything from that beer hall except for this beer. So I hit up Sean about a month ago and I was like, hey man, I still got that beer. I'm going to review it soon, whatever. And he's like, is it all right if I jump on the review? I hopped on a live stream recently with my buddy Kev and I had a great time. And I was like, dude, you're more than welcome. So that's why we're doing it. Now we're not doing a live stream because it's a bit later and probably no one would be watching this late. So I'm doing it pre-recorded, but it's awesome that you decided to hop on, Sean.
No problem. I'm excited to lose another soldier in my Barncat cellar.
Yeah. So speaking of which, a good segue, the beer we are reviewing comes from the aforementioned and now defunct Barncat Artisan Ales. They were formerly out of Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. And we have their Cat Deactivator. Now they also have a Cat Reactivator too, right? Which is the coffee.
Yeah, the
barley wine.
Yeah, they added coffee to it, and it wasn't barrel aged.
Okay, so this is a bourbon barrel aged, I believe, English style barley wine. They just say barley wine. Pretty sure it's English though, right? The base of this, right?
Yeah, 12%. It is English style.
Anything else to add about it? Do you know what barrels they use or anything?
I forget what the barrels were, but I know with this one, they were really focusing on the type of malts that they were using compared to their other barley wine series sweet release. That was like more focused on which barrels that they were using, depending on the vintages.
Okay, and how many times have they released this beer? Do you know?
I think this might be the only time they released Cat Deactivator.
Oh, okay,
maybe
Oh, go ahead.
So go on.
No, it's you go ahead.
I think they released it pretty early on, but it wasn't barrel aged. It was just a straight up barley wine, and then they added coffee and bottled it.
Okay.
So
I'm on Untappd, and it says not to be confused with Cat Reactivator, which is their coffee barley wine. This is an English style barley wine aged for 15 months in a single Heaven Hill Bourbon barrel. And this is a throwback to the very first barley wine, which you were just saying, way back in late 2016. So it's 12% alcohol by volume, no IBUs listed. In time of review, we don't know exactly how old it is, but it was released in May of 2023. So 13-ish months in the bottle. And how many of these did you buy when you picked it up? I'm going to crack mine open. I know yours is already open. So
I think I probably I bought six or seven because I knew it was kind of near the end, and I wanted to have a couple. I gave you one, and just cracked them here and there whenever I felt like it. And it's actually almost been a year since they've actually finally closed up shop at the beginning of July last year.
Yeah, so as I said, they're defunct now because they, as Sean said, closed last year. And that kind of came probably for a lot of people came out of the blue, but not so much for probably people that were close to the brewery. Was that something you expected?
Yeah, I kind of knew things were maybe not the greatest as of January. But I was pretty hopeful with subsequent visits that maybe they could pull something out, but rent is really expensive, and the beer industry is also really hard. You cater to nerds, and
as we were talking about off camera, they were a really small brewery. Like they were open 2 days a week, Friday and Saturday, and Their stuff was pretty expensive because they were a smaller place. They probably didn't, have the connections for the ingredients and everything that a lot of bigger breweries have. It's like a kind of like they started off as like just like their like hobby, right? And then it kind of morphed into,
all they wanted to do when they opened was just growler fills, and that's all they wanted to do in bottle releases.
Yeah,
but they had to pivot to getting their own canner and doing cans every week, especially with COVID.
Yep. So we have we both have the hashtag proper glassware, of course. I'd say the color is that muddy, perfect for a barley wine. It has that muddy, as a good friend of mine, fellow beer tuber Matt over at Massive Beer says, that doo-doo brown color. That's basically what this is.
Garnet.
Yep. Doesn't look great, but you pour a barley wine that looks like this, it's probably going to be great. That's how it goes.
As soon as you smell the nose of it, it's just
it's fantastic. It's
caramel. Toffee.
It's really big on the spirit too, like the bourbon shining for me for sure. But it's accentuating that like caramel, toffee, dark fruit kind of base, and it's making it more of like huge caramelized sugars with like a vanilla edge.
I was just gonna say like the vanilla tannins like are just popping.
Yeah, the what do they call them? The vanilla and oak, I always forget. Vanillins, I think they refer to
the vanillins.
Yeah, but it's a barley wine through and through, caramelized sugar, dark fruits. You're like, it has like the sugar babies, raisinette kind of quality.
Yeah, raisinette, huge.
Yeah, raisinette. A little bit of like a sweeter kind of milk chocolate vibe for me too, or maybe even more like the powder, like a cocoa powder, but like a sweetened cocoa powder. It smells to a T like a great bourbon barrel aged English barley wine.
Yeah.
Now the carbonation, I can already tell, is probably going to be a little bit undercarb, but here's the thing about styles like this. I always appreciate that and want that, because that's my experience with this style has always been mild to moderately carbonated, and sometimes it's like flat. Like it all depends on how old they are, what the brewery's doing. Anything else? Makes it
like a mixed drink, right?
Yeah, kind of. Nowadays, too much carbonation is a no-go anyway, so I'd rather have it undercarbed than overcarbed. Yeah, it smells fucking wonderful. Even got a little bit of I'm trying to think. There's something just hit me that was like, oh, what the hell is that? I don't know. We're getting a different characteristic. It's almost like a different confectionery sweetness in there. Like maybe even like a slight molasses or something. I don't know.
Or like brown sugar, like a caramelized or like brown sugar-ish.
Yeah, it's caramel toffee, like you said, brown sugar, like very caramelized sugar heavy. But it smells awesome. Want to get into it, good sir?
Cheers.
Thanks for joining me, Sean, and thank you for the beer, my friend. Cheers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fucking delicious, is what that is.
Oh, yeah.
It has maybe a little bit more carbonation than I expected, which I think is welcome, because looking at it and pouring out, I was like, man, this might be like very mildly carbonated. It's definitely right in that mild to moderate carbonation realm, I think.
Yeah. Still enough to wash off off your tongue, your palate.
And while it's thick, it's not like crazy thick. It's like, I'd say like lower to medium side of full. But the one thing I think for barley wines myself, and I don't know if you're the same way or anybody else watching is, I don't ever look at barley wines like stouts in terms of body and mouthfeel, because I don't want these absolutely huge and thick for some reason. Like I don't want like a full-on body from a barley wine like I do a stout. And I think this kind of hits right that happy medium for me.
What's your thoughts on the barley wine stout blends?
I love them. They're so much fun, man. Whether they call them a black barley wine or like a stout wine, whatever, they're fantastic. I love them.
It's next time Third Moon does it's called Time Takes Time, I think. They did a coconut version last year.
Oh, shit. Wow.
And it was coconut stout barley wine blend, and it was absolutely fantastic.
I'm gonna need to leave the room for a second after that information is divulged in my general vicinity. Sorry,
I drank my last bottle with Alajan.
Fucking Alajan. The main thing I remember about Alajan is when we were at Thin Man for that release, and they did the Flora Plates collab with Jay Wakefield, and I said,
Oh yeah.
this is a 5 out of 5 if I've ever had it, and he posted that on tap. That was the quote. Anyway, back to this beer. So yeah, body is like meat. I'd say again, lower to medium full. The mouthfeel it's soft on the palate. It's smoother, not creamy or anything, but I think body and mouthfeel are about as appropriate as you can get for this style for sure.
Mm-hmm. I think it's such a heavy spirit presence in it. I think it thins it out just a touch.
For sure. Yeah, that's a good call, because a lot of folks don't realize that, like, that's what barrel aging does a lot, is it can thin out. Even the thickest of beers can get cut when they're in the barrel. So like a lot of people will get like a barrel aged version of their favorite beer, and they'll be like, oh, it's thinner than the base. And it's like, yeah, that's what happens. Unfortunately.
That's what we're paying extra for. We want that spirit profile.
Yep. And if you lose a little bit of the body, so be it. The taste though is fucking, but this is a phenomenal beer. Like I've reviewed a handful of beers from Barncat, all courtesy of Sean over the years. I've had probably like 15 or 20 from you and Aaron as well. And I can speak from an American standpoint, is that I put Barncat up there with a lot of the hype breweries over the years. I haven't had a bad beer from Barncat, and I've had some really amazing ones. And this is in the realm where like you put this you put a different label on this from a hyped American brewery, and I think people wouldn't think twice of the quality of this beer. They'd be like, oh yeah, that's great, you know?
And I think at the time they were maybe selling these at $15 a bottle, 15, 16. So really not bad.
$1 an ounce.
Comparatively what things are going for now. Like I bought the newest Badlands stouts. 2 bottles were $50.
That's fucking
47 maybe.
Well, even think about one of our breweries that we've enjoyed over the years, Coonan from Detroit, where they do like all their shit. They would do the Ice Bock, which, you know, it's a higher in ABV and they put fruit and stuff, but like that would be a 375 milliliter, so 12.7 fluid ounce bottle, and they charge $30 for it. Like, there's definitely some crazy prices. So paying $15 Canadian for a 16.9 fluid ounce / 500 milliliter bottle, you convert that to USD funds, that's like $11-12, like all day, every day for fucking this. No questions outside. There's no. Go ahead.
We had it too good until they left. Nobody realized what we had.
Yeah. Pour one out for Barncat if you're watching this and from Canada. Yeah. But the taste really does carry over from the nose. The biggest thing I'm noticing is just caramelized sugars running wild like Hulkamania back in the 80s. You have caramel, toffee, lots of brown sugar, sweeter but not over the top. That little dusting of the sweeter cocoa powder. There's that dark fruit. So again, we would say you raisinets right in the nose. I would even go, raisinets for sure. That all hits like front of the palate. Vast majority of the palate is the malt goodness, but second half of the palate's where like the spirit hits, and this is a very spirit heavy beer, which is, like you said, kind of why you pay for beers like that. You want the spirit to be present. It's not overwhelming, but it's definitely 100% bourbon. It's warming chest on the palate. You can notice it. It's it has that like peppery kind of bourbon spice to it. And it works really well because the rest of the beer is quite sweet.
Yeah.
It's not overly sweet though. It still has, it's not really bitter.
No.
But
it's weird. I can feel my lips are sticky, but it's not.
So you get the sticky lips, but then on the back of that palate, you get that dry oak tannin, like kind of dryness that like popsicle stick, and it's like, all right, so this is sweet, but it's also dry on the finish, and then you're like, well, I got to go back for more. Like,
go for another sip, yeah. Which would be very dangerous, crushing a full bottle of this.
Which I plan on doing this evening over the course of a couple hours. I'm not crushing it, so let's say I'm not crushing it, but I will be drinking it.
Crushing bills.
Yeah. No, here's the thing. Here's the unfortunate thing. Like, I do the price and availability at the end of these reviews, and it's like price point, you already said $15 for a 500 ml / 16 fluid ounce bottle. That is a great price point, especially when you do the conversion rate to the US. But the availability is no. Like, there is no availability anymore.
Maybe not for this beer. I might be blowing up a spot. Duran Coffee in Hamilton, Ontario, if you're in the area, they have a nice cellar of a bunch of Barncat stuff. It's more expensive. It's like $20 for a bottle, but they still have some on the shelf. I think they might even still have bottles of this.
So if you're in Western New York or you're in Southern Ontario, I would say this sounds good, or you want to try Barncat out because they are no longer around. There you go. Duran Coffee, Hamilton, check it out.
Yeah, they've got some Rat Queens, and then they also have some barrel-aged Third Moon on the shelf, and I think some counterpart barrel-aged stuff. So yeah, they've been a good spot. If I miss the release, swing by Duran Coffee.
Nice. They get a bunch of stuff there then, right? So
yeah, the owner there, Chris, is always on top of the game. He's driving everywhere and is always getting the nice new releases.
That's what you want from a local place that stocks good craft beer, right? Like that's those are the best spots in Western New York here with Brewed and Bottled. One stop in Rochester. They go that extra mile, right, to bring in stuff that other places don't get. But yeah, this is delicious. This is I just want to sum it up by saying it's fucking tasty. I know you rate on tap, so it's the same thing out of 5. I would. Yeah. Is it the best barrel-aged barley wine I've ever had? I'll just be honest with you. No. Is it up there in the conversation? It is. I think as a whole, it's fucking really tasty. I would honestly give this beer probably like a 4.7. I'm gonna go
4.75.
4 straight 4.75. I think that's kind of like where I got to put it. It's a 4.75. It's not quite a 5. What would I want it to be a 5? I don't know. That's a hard thing. It's not. I mean, while it's fucking amazing and delicious, I'm going to take that down and have no issues doing so. And I'm super happy that you hooked me up with a bottle and we're drinking it right now and reviewing it. I saw you've heard of Grow Brewing, right? Or have you not? The thing.
Oh yeah.
Their bourbon barrel aged barley wine they did. Mm-hmm. It's kind of in this realm a little bit better in my opinion, but again, it's one of those things where like if I'm giving it a 4.75 or a 5, what's the difference? It's quarter point. Regardless, it's fucking quality top tier stuff. The unfortunate thing is outside of one place in fucking Hamilton, you're not getting it unless you have friends. Yeah, it's just not happening.
Yeah.
How about you rating wise? Did you look up your rating or did you not rate it?
My original rating was 4.75. Tonight, maybe give it a 5. Just rest in peace to my friends at Barncat Artisan Ales.
Shout out to Barncat. You said one of the former owners, they're brewing at Sparrow, right?
Yeah, Matt is now brewing at Sparrow. If you're in Southern Ontario or traveling through that area, I'd totally say hit them up. They roast their own coffee there. They're doing some really nice things with hops. They did it's a beer I don't normally go for, but they did this limoncello kettle sour.
Interesting.
And it's definitely a style Barncat never did. And it's a great summer drink.
Yeah, you gave me one beer from Sparrow. I'm looking it up right now. Fine and Dandy. And
Fine and Dandy.
It was nice. I mean, it wasn't like mind blowing, but like for like it was a regular IPA too. It wasn't like a double or a triple, and it was really nicely done. I enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, they did a version of it recently that I haven't had a can of it, but I tried some off of the Bright Tank and it was tasting fantastic. The hops that it's used for it.
I was getting pina colada in there, and I remember you saying Sabro. And you were like, oh, I could totally taste the pina colada. I was like, yeah, because it was one dimensional, but in a great way. Where like if you like Sabro, you would probably like it like I did, but not probably turn you off type of situation.
Yeah.
But
that's how it is.
It is. There's a lot. There's a lot of hops out there. Like I posted a review recently with Enigma hops, and I said I fucking hate it because Enigma hops to me taste like rotten fruit or like trash.
Really?
And then other people are like, yeah, I like it. And then meanwhile, other people are like, I hate Sabro. And I'm like, well, I love Sabro. They're like, I don't want coconut in my IPAs. I'm like, fair play. I get it.
I mean, I'm up and down with Sabro. I had a beer with Sabro recently that I was like, I took a sip and I was like, what hops are in this? And then, it was Sabro. So it just depends. That's how it goes.
And nowadays, a lot of people are their conversations about like Galaxy has fallen off a lot. The crops over the last couple of years, not bringing to the table that crushed pineapple is more like an earthy abrasiveness, and like people aren't digging it. And it's funny because I've seen that across the board. A lot of my friends drinking Galaxy hops from different breweries and just being like, this doesn't hit the same way, or this Galaxy's not doing it for me. And I'm like, that's kind of been my experience to some degree in the last year or two.
And I listened to a podcast with Troy from Badlands, and he said the the newest crops of Galaxy are kind of coming back around, and like they've been using Galaxy a little bit more, and it's been hitting pretty nice. But yeah, there was a weird time that Galaxy just wasn't what it used to be.
Nope. But it's that's exactly what I heard too. And like Treehouse did that like Fern series where I think, and they also did a couple different, like a Galaxy, a couple different ways where people are like, oh yeah, this is like back to Galaxy being fantastic. So maybe the rest of this year we'll start getting good Galaxy beers, but
it's an agricultural product, right? It's always going to be ups and downs.
That's true. All depends on the crops. And I had this conversation with another viewer of the channel, Curtis, and we were talking about, we're talking about like different contracts that breweries have. And it's like the bigger breweries are going to get the better contracts where they get the first pick of the litter, so to speak, of the hops. So if you're a little small brewery that doesn't have a contract or a smaller contract, you're probably going to be the lower end of the totem pole, bringing in whatever Galaxy that's left over. If you're going for Galaxy, it's probably not going to work out like you think it is, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to shut this one down. So once again, this was Cat Deactivator from Barncat Artisan Ales, the 2023 release. The brewery is no longer with us, unfortunately. So RIP to Barncat. However, if you're in Southern Ontario, go to Hamilton. Check out, what is it? Durand Coffee, did you say?
Durand Coffee Shop.
Durand Coffee Shop. They apparently still have some of these in their cellar that you can buy. And well, maybe not this specifically, but beers from Barncat. So
beers from Barncat and a great selection of hops and lagers.
And there you go. I like Sean said, one of the best in the area, and the owner does his due diligence. And also, I know I got quite a few Canadian viewers. If you've had this before, or anything from Barncat, or anything from Southern Ontario that's hyped with the Badlands and the Third Moon and all that stuff, post in the comment section. Let us know what you think about not only this beer, but others you've had. I've been lucky to have a lot of friends in the Southern Ontario area like Sean that have hooked me up with a lot of cool beer. And I've always said this, and people sometimes look at me like sideways and think I'm crazy, but I'm like, if you knew the top tier breweries in not only Canada, but specifically Ontario, like a lot of them can compete with the hype stuff in the States, and they just don't get the notoriety because a lot of them are either smaller or they don't get out of Canada. And if you're in the US, you're probably not listening to the Canadian beer scene, where I am literally 15, 20 minutes away from the border. So it's like, I get the best of both worlds, and knowing what is like, drinking Bellwoods when they first opened back in 2013, and now seeing them distributed here in New York State is pretty fucking wild, to be honest with you. Never thought I'd see the day.
I never thought I could go to a grocery store and grab a Roman candle.
Yeah, that's like, I remember the first time having Roman candle and being kind of blown away by it, and now it's a fucking shelf turd. In the greatest way possible. It is. Yeah. And a shelf turd to me is always an endearing comment. It's like it just means it's always on the shelf, and now a lot of people just pass it up because it's like been there, done that. But it's like, if you'd have told me 10 years ago that beer would have been in a grocery store at the LCBO or whatever, you'd be like, nah, it's not going to happen.
Nah.
Same thing with Other Half. We were talking off camera about Other Half being in like Wegmans grocery stores and shit. Like you and I, so Sean and I, so whatever, this is longer at this point. A lot of people probably clicked off, but Sean and I actually went to, when the FLX location opened up in East Bloomfield of Other Half, we sat in line, the first release, and we were in line for a couple hours. And I remember I remember too, a couple people in front of us got the last 4-packs of a couple different beers, and we were kind of upset because we're like, fuck, man, we waited in line.
Three or three times it's happened to me. But
and then you fast forward. It's insane, dude. They fast forward. You get 6 years later, and it's like, wow.
10 to 16 different IPAs, 3 stouts. It's crazy.
It's insane, but it's where the beer world is now, and I'm happy for it because it's like, I feel like all of us have the option to get great beer locally, so you don't have to do stuff like that all that often.
Yeah, like I miss my trips down to the States because it was fun meeting you, meeting the other friends in upstate New York. But now it's a little cheaper. With the dollar, it's just like it's $200. It's $300 later, and it's
the experience the experience is awesome, but the wallet. Two thumbs up.
Hurts.
Yeah, it's like and it's cool to not have to travel to get good beer.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, our trip to Montreal, it was nice to go somewhere different and didn't have to worry about an exchange rate later.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, that plays a huge role. And like I said, coming up to Canada, it's always fun living like a king for a day, like where you go up there and like
just throwing money.
Yeah,
doesn't mean anything.
Everything's
so
cheap. every 4-pack's $5 to $6 cheaper. Every can's $1 cheaper. Like it's great. But anyway, so Sean's welcome back, whatever he wants. Like I told him, we're starting to get good distro of about 4 or 5 different breweries in the Southern Ontario region: Bellwoods, Badlands, Third Moon, Blood Brothers. So who knows if we happen upon the same beer and it's relatively same freshness. Like I don't want to be like, hey, let's do Roman Candle and your beer's 3 weeks old, mine's 3 months old. That's not going to be ideal, but it might be fun to see the comparison.
Could be the opposite way around, the way things are here.
Yeah, and LCBO with their nice aging process in their fucking warehouse.
Store. Yeah.
But so once again, Sean, thank you for not only hopping on, but hooking me up with this beer. It's going to be thoroughly enjoyed this evening. Next time you come down to States or I come up there, I have to buy you quite a few pours and maybe some beers. But yeah, so we're going to shut this one down. 4.75 out of 5, 5 out of 5 from Sean. Barncat, get this one if you're in Southern Ontario and you can go to Hamilton. Otherwise, just live vicariously through us and enjoy it. So
let me
pour this little because we're at Cheers. I can't have no beer in my fucking glass. What is that? That's crazy. All right, so shutting this one down. Thanks, Sean. Thanks to everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers, everybody.